What's going on, everybody? You are live with Osiris. Welcome to the Author's Lounge. Thank you all so much for just taking a moment out of your day to tune into today's episode. I got a special guest here today. International. We did it. We did it. We are international now. No, our guest, he has been gracious enough to allow me to have him on the show. And so I'm so grateful for you taking that time to allow me to be in your presence, or you to be in my presence. Well, I don't know which one sounds better, but I appreciate you just coming on the show, man, very much so. Just recently met
100,
him on through Threads, and Threads has been an
Yeah.
interesting app, just trying to get to learn. But meeting our guest on there has been one of the many blessings that's come out of that. So I'm going to go ahead and read off his bio, as you know, or as many may know. Um, I do extensive research on our members to bring the most relevant information for our guests. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Uh, our guest was born and raised in East London. Since childhood, he has always had a fascination with creative writing. Growing up, he found himself attracted to works such as Star Wars and The Lord of the Rings. This life would soon imitate art as he found himself immersed in the world of sci fi and fantasy. He caught himself writing short stories in provision school, giving his finished product to his teacher at the time. Unsure why, his love for writing began to diminish. He would later enroll into college where he obtained a Bachelor's of Science degree in strength and conditioning. Currently, he works in an alternate provision school, which is a school for children and their families with emotional and behavioral difficulties. One day he had a dream, not like Martin Luther King, but one day he had a dream of a fantasy story. This dream has such an impact, he began to return to creative writing. That dream turned out to be his debut novel, Knights of Molston. I said that right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Wanted to make sure I got that. Knights of Malsdon, with his sights set on creating his own fantasy series, his future is set. Without further ado, I present to you UK's own Mr. N.K. Nash. My man, thank you
That
so
was
much for coming on.
that was sick, man. That was awesome. No,
Yes, sir.
everything's
Oh
cool
yeah.
here, man. Great.
Yeah. I'll give you one heck of an intro, one heck of an introduction, man.
That was sick. I
Yes,
wasn't
sir.
expecting that.
So
That was cool.
yes, sir. So the United Kingdom. So right now I'm in Washington State and the United States. So it is
Mm.
8:19 a.m. as of the time of this recording. For you, is it 5:19 p.m. over there?
Oh no, it's 4:19.
Four. Okay. 4 9. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. You are all 8 hours ahead. It's not. I know Germany's 9. Okay. Cool, man. So hey, I'll go ahead and shoot away some questions. With the first big one being, what
Yeah.
Man, I got a lot actually that's running through my head right now. I guess, but the biggest one I want to start out with was, so you grew up doing creative writing. You're writing short stories. What were some of those stories about that you used to write that you gave to your teacher?
Well, well, I remember the very first one I remember was like, it's about the primary school where we went to. 'Cause I think you call it provision school. So when we're younger, it's primary school.
Hmm.
So that first one was like, oh, zombies took over the school, and like me and
Yeah.
some of my classmates had to like navigate the school and try and find this like special flask that was like down in the basement to get rid of like the king zombie, and all the zombies will disappear, and like all the teachers and everyone will come back. So that was like the first one I wrote.
Uh huh. Oh man, it's and I'm assuming the story continued. Did you finish those stories at all, or did it just end there?
Now there was a few others like mainly with like knights and like wizards, like knight and wizard led stories. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't even have them anymore because I was on like my very old hard drive on my old computer, and like
Yeah.
that hard drive is in my room, but I can't access it for some reason. I've tried like all the software to get the stuff off, but no,
Yeah.
nothing. Can't get
Hey
it.
man, I know that feeling. You have so much where I used to write short stories too. I used to write short films. I they never went
Mm.
anywhere, but I just wrote it just to write it, and
Yeah, yeah.
I wrote it just to write it, and I found that I don't have them anymore, and I don't know where they went. So I can relate to you on that. So okay, let's pivot really quick then. So where you work at currently,
Mm.
you work in an area where you help out children and families with behavioral issues. Is this like a form of counseling that you do, or what exactly is it that you do? I'd love to hear more about that.
Oh yeah, so it's a school basically, but it's like an alternate school. So like we got like the mainstream schools, like primary, secondary, like mainstream, like it's full of like 30 kids per class, probably like 2,000 students in the build like in the whole school. But in our school we got like probably 36 kids or 30 to 36
Hmm.
kids in total. So smaller classrooms help them like deal with like the anxiety they had like in the big mainstream class. So yeah, there's counseling there as well. Like we got like therapists on site and all that, but it's mainly like it's basically a school. So they still do like the maths and English, like the core subjects, and like we
Hmm.
do more like how to put it, like extra curricular activities, like out, like we do like going outdoors in like the forest, like going on like music trips, like making them be creative, create their own music.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like it's what some of them won't get in the mainstream, but it helps them learn in a different way, and hopefully they can go back to mainstream and be successful. So that's what our school's there for.
Oh, that's awesome. So you and
Yeah.
your team are contributing to the like the development of these families to be able to do something like more. It sounds like more like creative relief or something where it can de-stress them or help them um just have a better future. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so I don't want to butcher it because I know some of my colleagues will watch this like, wait, you need to do it, you need to put up the school properly. So,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I'll put it.
Well, if, there,
Um,
if there's things that you aren't, liable to say, please don't feel pressured to say it because of this show. So, if you would like, we can pivot to another topic.
oh no, like it's cool. Like
Okay,
it's just
okay,
basically there like as a alternate education for the pupil joining. So like they'll probably get kicked out of their
yes,
school,
sir.
or the school wouldn't don't want them anymore. So it was giving them another chance in like in
I
their
see.
educational like life to sort of
Hmm.
like put it that way. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Does the school
Cool.
do? Are the students of that school are they into reading a lot? Is that something that they're into, or is there a
Yeah,
library
most of
there?
them. Yeah, we got a library on like the fourth floor, and like we got like loads of books in like each class. And like we do something on Wednesday called Drop Everything and Read. So in the morning, like there's nothing going on but reading. So everyone's reading, like
Yeah.
the teachers, the parents, the students, everyone's reading. So that's a
Oh, that's
good
good.
thing there as well.
Do
Yeah.
do they know that you're an author? Do they know that yet?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I was
Yeah,
going to be like, because if
yeah.
they don't, they're about to find out if they see this episode. Like,
Yeah.
surprise. And K Nash he's international. They're like, oh my God,
International.
we have an author in our school.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should consider, I don't know what the politics are with getting your work into their school, but has that been a conversation you've had trying to get your work, your fantasy novel into the school you work with?
Oh, so there's a like little story here. So like when the book got published on like the 13th, it was Friday the 13th as well. So yeah. So
Oh
yeah,
boy.
I told so I told a few people who was out with, and then we had Secret Santa at work. And when like, everyone's
Mhm.
opening their presents, when I saw one person open the present as my book, and I was thinking, wait, what's going on? I didn't give them that. I don't want them to think like, oh, he's giving people his book and all that. But I see everyone
Yeah,
open
yeah.
it and they're holding up my book, and I was like, oh my days, like I went like red. I don't normally go red and all that, so I went like bright red. And then like they got me to like sign the book for them. Like it was an awesome moment. I'll
Oh,
never
that is
forget.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have they talked to you about the book? Have they come up to you and asked you questions about it?
Yeah, yeah. A few of them, like I think, nearly all of the staff there, like read the book or like spoken to me about it. Like in
Yeah.
the classroom I'm with, like we're reading it to the kids like some mornings. So yeah, it's cool.
Mhm. Oh wow, man. So let's think here because you had a background with sci-fi and fantasy, and so I'm sure that played heavily into this book, right? Before we even detail
Yeah.
about your novel and the series that you're creating, like this is just the start of something much grander than where it is right now, and I'm sure that it's been doing very well. So you also generated some reviews already. Reviews are hard to get. Let me just say,
Mm.
reviews are very hard to come by organically. So very nice on you for going that route and already obtaining some reviews. This is going to add more legitimacy to your book, and I'm certainly looking forward to checking it
Yeah.
out. So, while on the topic, so you mentioned Star Wars was and Lord of the Rings. I wasn't huge into Lord of the Rings, but Star Wars I freaking loved Star Wars. But how did Star Wars or even Lord of the Rings influence you as a creative writer?
I think like for Lord of the Rings, it's probably the trilogy is probably like my favorite film. I watch it every year, like do the
Yeah, yeah.
Lord of the Rings marathon. And I think it's just like the world, like the Lord of the Rings, like Middle Earth, and you got like the Star Wars universe, all the characters, like all the different like politics going on, like good versus evil. When you got like the morally grey
Hmm.
characters, I think that's what like attracted me. Like is it's like a different reality. Like you could get
Hmm.
lost in it. Like
Yeah.
you could see yourself in some characters as well. Like oh like for example, like one day if you could feel like Obi-Wan like righteous, just like by the book. But like some days you could be like
Hmm.
Anakin, like you're towing the line a bit, and like something could like push you off the edge when you're like a complete different person. But yeah, it's just like the complex characters in both like universes. Like it drawed me in from when I was young, and like I could watch them films over and over again. I've read like all the Lord of the Rings books, some of like the other ones like Silmarillion,
Hmm.
and like I got them up here. Like where are they? Like The Hobbit, like Ahsoka, Master and Apprentice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got all my favorite books up here above me. Yeah,
Oh, so you've read Lord of the Rings and you've watched the movie.
yeah, yeah,
Uh-oh. Okay. Which is better?
yeah. I'll say, oh, that's on the spot. God, I
Yeah,
love the
your opinion.
film,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Oh boy. What?
I think the books. I like the books.
Yeah.
I like the books,
Yep.
but the films are
Yes,
epic.
sir. So
Films
which
are
one
epic.
did you watch the movie first and you read the book after or vice versa?
So when the Fellowship came out in the cinema, I think I was like 2000, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it was year 2000. Then I went WH Swift with my mum, and we brought the whole set, like Lord of the Rings, like the three books and The Hobbit. So I read The Two
Yeah.
Towers before it came out in cinema, then watched the film. Then
Yeah.
I read Return of the King, then watched the film after. So I was like, I was even like my teacher said to me, like, that's a high level book to be reading at that age. 'Cause I think I was still like middle and primary school. So I can't remember how old I was then. How old was I? Uh, Probably like 7 or 8. Obviously, like my mum helped me read like some
Uh-huh.
of the words, but yeah,
Right.
like reading that book, it was good at that age. When I reread it like a few years later, and yeah, so I'll say the books are better than the film.
Yeah. So I mean, while we're on the topic of books and fantasy, you have your own that you have created, Knights of Volston. So let's talk about it, man. let's dive
Yeah.
into it because I love the idea that the inspiration behind your book came from a dream. I love it even more that you
Mm.
actually grew up idolizing fantasy and sci-fi. We could talk sci-fi, a little after because I love sci-fi
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
sci-fi fantasy, or however it's phrased. But in particular for you and your book, with it being a fantasy book, what's your vision for your series? Like it right now is in its infancy and it's doing well. Well, yeah, what's the vision for it?
Well, I want like either 3 or 4 book series, like to reach probably like people like myself, like fantasy lovers, like just like to read it and like enjoy
Mhm.
it. And maybe who knows, like it gets adapted into like a animated series on Netflix or something like that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
there we go.
I just want it to be out there for everyone to read it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's incredible, man. Like you have the aspirations of wanting it to become something much bigger than just a book, but the book is going to live on. The book is going to live on, and so, okay. So without
Yeah.
giving away too much, like in your words, I know we can look at the bio, right, of the book and kind of read what it was about. But in your words,
Hmm.
what is the book about overall? Knights of Moleston, that
So I'll
is.
say it's about like honor, like friendship, like the sting of betrayal, and just like fighting together, like to save your loved ones and the world you call home, like against
Mhm.
all types of evil. And yeah, there's basically like the power of like friendship, really, and like
Okay.
and honor, and even like if some things are out of your control, like there's still a way to get things done, really. So kind of like along those bases.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's truth in fiction. There's a lot of truth in fiction. So how much of this story that you've created is emulated from your reality? Like meaning how much of you is in this book?
Um, oh, I'll say probably some parts of the story. I don't want to say what part 'cause it'll be like a
Yeah,
spoiler.
no, no, don't
I'll
say
say,
it. Yeah, don't say
I'll, s-
it. The
I'll
part
say
of
like
this
some
story is
parts of
when
the story.
he's decided to like shank somebody, and this person, yeah, no,
No, that's not true. No, no, no. I didn't go
nope.
no.
There's no shanking. There's no shanking. There's none of that stuff. I'm just being facetious, but yeah, no, you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I'll just say yeah, like some parts of the story like is either happened to me or like I've known someone that's like gone through it. And
Yes,
like they
sir.
told me about it, how it made them feel. So like
Yeah.
those parts of the book were like really like not I don't want to say like really easy to write, but like it flowed naturally. Like it
Hmm.
wasn't like a how to put I didn't get like stuck writing those kind of like
Yeah.
emotional parts of the book because it's either been lived or it's been like lived through someone else I know. Yeah.
Hmm. Now, there was one thing, right, in the research that I was doing about you that stood out immensely, and that was the how some of these ideas come to you on a train ride. That reminded me of J.K. Rowling, where the whole concept of Harry Potter, when she wrote it, it came because she was on. I think she was on a train ride. You all can fact check me on the time frame. I believe it was 4 hours. I
Mm.
could be wrong, but I know she didn't have a pen. She didn't have anything to write on. I think she had to. I believe she had to commit the concept of the story of Harry Potter to memory, and she did it. And that came to her on a train ride. So for you, with yours, and your concept also being on a train ride, what is it about the train and that train ride that generates these crazy ideas over in the United Kingdom? I need to get on that train ride.
It's the underground air, mate. It's something called the underground air.
There's some magic in that freaking
But
train ride,
yeah, I
man.
just
I need
found
to
it.
know what's over there.
Yeah, it's just I just found it yeah, because the morning after the dream, like I was on my way to work. So I was like, yeah, yes, go. So I just got the phone out. But like the train ride is dead time really. It's like it takes me almost an hour to like get to work. So it's just dead
Hmm.
time. So I just used it like to get all my ideas out, like write some chapters
Yeah.
and like on the way home as well. Like any dead time I get like either traveling, like if I'm not driving, I'll be typing. But also like it might seem rude, like I'm always on my phone and thinking, oh, why are you always on your phone? What are you doing on your phone? Because at the time no one really knew what I was writing. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking, oh, he's really just on his phone all the time and all that. But I was like,
This
no, I'm
guy,
doing something
he
here.
he lives in his phone.
Yeah.
Little did they know.
Yeah,
Wow, here you go.
exactly.
Check what I was doing the whole time. I was writing a story, guys.
Yeah.
Creating a masterpiece right before your eyes. You had no clue.
Yeah. That
Okay,
was
so okay, so man, I had a couple of questions that came to mind. The process. I know you just spoke about it with your process. What a piece of the process with you. You'll sometimes write it in your phone. Um, do you ever catch yourself like actually like writing down on paper or physically or somewhere writing down the story, or how do you transcribe it? Is it all done on phone and then you transcribe it to a computer, or do you write it on paper and then transcribe it? What's your writing process overall?
that's okay. So I I didn't really write much of it on the paper. I think like what I wrote on the paper was like the chapter names or like names of characters or like the description how they looked. But mainly like the main plot and story, like I kept it in my head, then I would write on my phone. So if I was at work and an idea
Yeah, yeah.
popped in my head, I was like, okay, I need to store this. When we get on the train, I'm gonna write it out. So yeah, after
Yeah.
I wrote it
That
out on the
train.
phone,
That freaking train.
I'm telling you.
Yes, sir.
But so then after like write on the phone, then when I'll get home and I'll email it to myself, then I'll put it into the Word document and I'll quickly like format it, like space it. Then when all of it's done, like when the first draft was done, that's when I read through it. So I didn't really read through it. Like I'll read through it quickly before I email it to myself. But when it was all together,
Mhm.
that's when I read through the whole thing. Then like edited it, then read through it again. Like if I had to like change some character names or like change the name of some locations, I'll do that. But yeah, that was
Mhm.
mainly the process. I didn't write much down on paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, that reason why I ask is I'm always intrigued by like the process of writers and how what's their creative process in it. Now, another question, because there's a phrase right in it with writers between plotters or pantsers, and for those who don't know, those who are watching or brand new to this lingo or the jargon that is within the book published company, sorry, book business, is being a pantser means is another way of saying you write on the seat of your pants, or you whatever comes to mind you write and the story develops as you're writing. You don't necessarily
Mm.
think about you don't plot it out. And then there's also the plotters, and those they go through and they maybe have a board or however they decide to work their magic, and they actually create the entire concept of the story from start to finish, and then they write it. So for you, which one which I guess which mode are you in? I know some people operate in both from time to time, but which one is more dominant? Are you more of the person who writes just everything that's coming to mind, or is it let me put everything on paper first and then transcribe it?
I'll say I say like it'll probably be like 80% what comes to mind. Like I always know like the
Hmm.
beginning, roughly what will happen in the middle, and like a good idea of how I want to end it. But everything else, it'll just like just come, just go. I
Yeah,
wouldn't put it on the board or anything. It'll just be like just flowing. Or I'll picture
yeah.
myself
There's
in it sometimes. When that's how I've seen the scene. 'Cause that's what like
hmm
I wouldn't say like some people I've spoken to, they said like it's really like cinematic. Cause that's how like I'll see it in my
yeah.
head. Like it's like the whole scene playing out in my head, then I'll like write it down that way. So yeah.
That's insanity, man. Like in a good way. Just the concept of like it's an entire feature film in your head. a movie that you're just writing out. I can't wait to read it. Do you listen to music when you're writing, or is it just completely silent? Or what's your vibe when it comes to writing and when you're actually in your writing space? Do you have headphones, or what's that look like for you?
Mm. Oh, like I listen to music, like
Oh yeah,
all all kinds of genre, like lyrics as well. Yeah, not just like instrumental. Like I'll hear like the words and everything. Because even like one person asked me like, "How do you do it?" Like you're writing when you're hearing like rapping or like a rock song in your ears. Like how do you focus? I was like,
yeah,
I don't know. I just do it. I don't find it hard to focus with like the music in my
yeah.
ears.
It's hard to explain. It's like how do people exercise with headphones on and they focus on counting? Like it's you just do it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It just works.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I got a couple more questions before I let you go out of here. So my next question is, um,
Mm.
man, hold on, wait, I drew a blank on it, but it was right there. Okay, I know it. So, what are you working on next?
Okay, so just probably like a few days ago, I've finished the first draft for the prequel of the book that's out now.
Yes,
Then
sir.
I'm currently now finishing off the first draft for the no, so hold on, I got that wrong. Oh, sorry, sorry. So I just finished the sequel, the first draft for the sequel, and I'm
Mhm.
currently finishing off the prequel. So
Oh, nice.
that's what, yeah, so that's what's happening now. Yeah.
Okay, so it's hard, right? I'm not asking you to reveal any spoilers, but is it hard for you to kill off any of the characters that you have created? I'm not asking for
Um,
heroes or for the villains, but like any of the characters that you kill off, because I know there's got to be some in a freaking fantasy world. Somebody's not surviving. Is it hard for you to do that?
I'll say one of the characters, like yeah, like I felt that one when I was writing it. I was like, oh man, and the
'Cause-
way the way that person died as well. I was like, yeah. And what happened after? I was like,
yeah,
man. So
you're like,
even like
"Huh, why did I do that? I'm sorry.
'cause even one of my friends that was that has read that part. There was like, oh, I felt that one. Like
hmm
I really felt that one. I was like, yeah, I felt that one when I was reading when I was writing it.
Like, why did you have to kill the character like that? You're like, I don't even know. It was the music I was listening to. I just went there. That's
Yeah.
also like in the way that you write, there's a sense of unpredictability because you have no clue what's going to happen in the middle. So you don't know if this person's going to, if something's going to happen to this character, or if something's going to happen to this person, or this scenario is going to shape the story into a completely different trajectory. And that's the love and the beauty about storytelling, man. Just like as from a writer to a writer, just being able to create magic for readers to read, but especially for you as the writer, writing it like, oh, I love what I'm writing. I hope others enjoy it as well. But then there's that happy medium where you write for yourself and you write for your audience. Now I know you're just getting started with everything, and it's really important to know exactly who you're writing for. So out the gate, you knew I'm writing a fantasy novel. That the age range for what's the age range for your book?
I'll say like young adult, like 15 plus, like 14, 15 plus.
Yep.
So like from there and upwards,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, good.
I say that's like
No,
a
very
good
nice.
age to base it.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Mm.
okay. And so, is it only available in paperback, or is there a hardback or ebook version of
Oh yeah,
what's the
there's
formats that you have it available?
paperback and ebook at the moment.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
those
Okay,
two.
so I mean, while on the topic, where can people not only purchase your work, but how can people find you?
So I'm on Instagram as author NK Nash, and it's the same on Threads as well. And I've got like a Goodreads page. That's NK Nash. The books are available on Amazon, so like UK Amazon, US Amazon, both paperback and ebook. It's on Apple Books as well. Waterstones for the UK, like you could order it online.
Hmm.
And like if it's Barnes and Noble in the US, you could order it online as well.
Oh, perfect.
And there's a few others I can't remember top of my head. Yeah. But yeah, there's a few. It's on my page where they're available. Oh yeah, and Booktopia in Australia as well. Yeah, that one just
Okay.
popped up. But yeah, there's a few. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so you are legit everywhere. You are everywhere in the online retail stores. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. You did your homework on it. A lot of authors who just start, they generally only stick to Amazon, and I always think, man, there's so much more that you could start with. I would also encourage libraries too. Like if I don't know what the library curriculum is out there to partner up with, but that is also I would
Mm.
highly encourage a library partnership of some sort. There is an audience there just thinking of, where can I find readers? Anywhere you can find readers and people who use their phones. I would also encourage audiobooks, though, for fantasy. That might be a beast of a production
Yeah,
for your
yeah.
fantasy book. But for sure, I would really encourage you, man, to maybe look into libraries, like a public library or a local library, and see, hey, what is your policy when it comes to partnering with authors? Because some libraries are just looking, and they're craving partnerships with authors for them to come in, and then they'll promote it on their social media, or however they promote it. And you go there and you have a new audience there, whether or not they buy your
Mm.
book, but at least they know of who you are. And then they have a local there and someone who's willing to help. And then you can establish an even bigger community that you already have.
Yeah, because I didn't even know this. Like, I was talking to this person on Instagram. She's in Canada, and like she's like gonna do a review of my book. And then she told me like your book's in like free libraries in Canada, and I had no idea. Like when she told me
No
that, I was like,
way.
"That's crazy." Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't even know. She just told me, "Yeah, free libraries in Canada." I was like, "Okay, that's cool."
That is awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I was actually talking to my buddy a couple of days ago, buddy Dale, and we were talking about free little libraries. I know in the U.S. there's a ton of free little libraries. Do you all have anything like that in over in London or the UK in general?
Yeah, so we have like in like London you got boroughs like Newham, Islington, all that. So you got like your borough library. So my one would be
Yeah, yeah,
like the area I'm in, that would be it, like Newham Library or Stratford Library.
yeah,
And you
yeah,
got like all your borough have like a main library where everyone will go to. Then you got like probably like independent ones as well. But I mainly know of the borough
yeah.
ones. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Hey, there's a market out there for that, man. Like, but it sounds like you're already in the library. You had no clue. Like, hey, I'm doing a review on your book, and oh, by the way, in Canada, I know you're in the UK,
Yeah.
but in Canada, your book's in the library. You're like, wait, what? What?
It was so crazy.
Yeah, everywhere, man. Yeah, you're well on your way. I'm looking forward to hearing more about the development of your series. I'm so glad and I'm so grateful that you came on to the show and you allowed me to just take to steal you for like half an hour or a little more than half an hour. But I'm looking forward to getting your book. Now, for are you planning on doing any sort of book signing events in the future? Is that something that you're looking forward to doing?
Yeah, because I'm currently trying to get into MCM, do you know like Comic Con, like the expos
Yes, sir.
have like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to I applied for a table there, so I'll find out in like February if I get it or not.
Yes,
Because
sir.
that would be awesome. I always go there, but I like
Oh,
see like all
fingers
the
crossed.
independent artists and all that. Yeah. So that'll
Yeah.
be cool. I might be sitting there this May, I don't know. That'll be cool.
Hey, you should definitely make that a priority. Yes. Have a stack of your
Mm.
books too, man. I would encourage too, like if you
Yeah.
have, we call it swag over here in the US, but just items or giveaways, things that can accompany it, and stand up too. A lot of people at these festivals or conventions, they sit down. I don't know why that is a thing for many people, and that's not a knock against anybody, but I've seen
Mm.
it to where people sit down the entire time, and I've seen it to where, and myself included, when I'm standing up, um, standing up and smiling is more welcoming, is more engaging because it doesn't. It's much harder to just pass by somebody that's standing up and they look at you unless they like look down. They're like, "Oh, I'm not
Yeah,
trying to be
yeah.
seen." But and you have a welcoming personality, and so it would be, I think, in your best interest in those to like stand up and and be more welcoming. I mean, I'm sure you would be if you're sitting down as well, but I'm telling you, man, like that difference in standing up and having that smile on your face and welcoming, hey, as they're, even if they're passing by, just saying something to them will make a difference. It can lure people over, and especially if you have
Mm.
little items or giveaways on the table. It's worked for me. I've had different color stuffed animals for my children's books, or just different props that attracts the kids who see at eye level, the adults who see much high, well, they see at their eye level much lower what's on the table,
Mm.
and the adults can make eye contact with you. And so it's a really good strategy to be able to just lure them in, because if you can't get the parents but you can get the children, then you get the parents inadvertently. But man, yeah, that's just me just giving you some advice from my experience to you, with this being like you embarking on this journey, and it's going to be a beautiful one, man. So I'm looking forward to you. Let me know how that goes. Let me know if you get that and share it on the social media. And
Yeah,
then I
definitely.
mean, I don't have any, I got one connection over in the UK outside of you.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually supposed to do an episode with him. So I'll mention you as well. I'll let him know that, hey, I know another I know an author that's over there in your land. You two should connect.
Yeah,
Yeah, if
that'll
you're
be
cool with
cool,
that, that
man.
is. If you're okay with that.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Yes, sir. Well, hey man, that's all I got. Is there any last thoughts before I close it out?
Um, no, just like thank you for let me speak with you. Like this has been surreal, man. It's so awesome like
Yeah.
to talk about the book and other things. Yeah, it's been amazing, bro. Thank you so much, man.
Yes, sir, man. Yeah. Hey, it's no worries at all. Feel free to let people know about it. Like, I don't charge. I'm not charging anybody to come on here. There are some platforms where people are trying to make a buck, which,
Mm.
not knocking anybody's hustle. But for me, I'm not charging anybody to come over here. My thing is, hey, I just want to get their time, and I want to do my research and help establish this place as a place where you can come in and expand on your brand and make more connections and just have a good time. It's a conversation, man. So it's
Yeah,
just a
legit, man.
conversation with a. I'm also an author as well, so I'm not somebody who's just interviewing. I don't know what I'm talking about. So it's we share the same world, maybe not the
Mm.
same genre, but we share the same world. So
Yeah,
spread the love, man. Spread the word, and thank you so much for coming on the show. I greatly appreciate you, NK Nash, Mister
no, of course.
Sir NK Nash.
Thank you, my bro.
Yes, sir. Hey, so hey, thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to tune into today's episode. It was a pleasure being able to host this episode with NK Nash. I hope you all learned something. Please do me a favor and go and subscribe to him on his social media. I will link everything into the description of this episode, wherever it's going to be broadcasted at. Just go ahead and hit follow him, subscribe to him, check out his books, reach out to him directly. He might even give you a hookup. Who knows? I'm going to do the same. But on that note, you all take care. Have a wonderful remainder of your day and week. Be safe, and I'll catch you next time.